Hi kawan, welcome to EDCReady. Today I have another overview of my entire EDC knife collection. Haven't done one of these in a long time, so here is an update as of September 10th. Now, a lot of these knives already have the full disassembly, unboxing, review video, except this guy. This guy is still in that reviewing process. So here we go. Let's just start with a knife that I'm gonna soon let go, which is this guy. This is the giant Mouse Ace Riv. A nice micarta handles here, and then titanium on this side with L-Max blade right here. A lot of good things about this knife, a lot of things that I love about this knife, but in terms of a flipper, it is just not as nice as some of the other flipper frame locks that I have right now. Great flicking knife, but ergonomically it is great 95% of the way. This final 5% is kind of like troubling me a little bit, and because of that, I think I will eventually let this guy go, and I think it's not going to be long before I let this guy go. Next up, let's go through another flipper frame lock, which is currently in the review process. This is the this is the Crkt Razeclife. This is a Graham design, so rest in peace John Graham, we recently lost him. And he's actually one of the best knife designers out there in my estimation. He makes a lot of great utility focused knife designs. So a lot of things I love about this guy is that it is just a very simple, straightforward to take apart, put together knife. It is so easy to carry. It's super slim, very nice blade shape, very nice utility blade shape. Really like that. Now, in terms of its flipping action, it's actually not bad. It has gotten better over time. It's gotten smoother over time. The only thing I don't like about it is that, and this is just such a small nitpick, it has a pingy sound texture to it. Okay, yeah, can you hear that? Has that pingy sound texture to it. Whereas this guy, being titanium, with a ceramic detent ball, you have this nice like back vault sound to it. Very, very nice. But at the end of the day, I think I'm just gonna let go of this guy instead of this guy. This guy carries just a tiny bit better than this guy, and although this guy has a nicer blade, the blade shape on this guy is just a little bit more unique. So this guy, surprisingly, has become one of the favorite knives in my current collection. Next up, one of the oldest knives I have. This is the ZT0450CF. Carbon fiber, and you know, I've had a few carbon fiber knives out there, a lot of them budget, so I really appreciate this carbon fiber. This is a really great carbon fiber. ZT does it really well. You have this nice like snake scale texture that they have here. That's not what they call it, that's what I call it, but you can definitely feel the carbon fiber texture, and it's completely like beautiful all the way around. And still, I've contemplated selling this guy many times, but I just never end up selling it because this has one of the best flipping actions I've ever experienced. Now, is it the best out there? Like, if I was a real knife snob, like, would this be like still in my collection if I got something better? Let's say if I got a Grimsmore Rask, would I keep this guy? I don't know, but for production standards, this has still the best flipping, the best detent action I've ever had in my entire collection. Okay, next up, something a little bit more budget. Okay, this is the Ganzo, I can never remember, let's see now, F753M. Yeah, that's the model number, 440C blade. I've sold my bug out because the bug out, the springs just kind of like fail me after some time, and I've bought replacement springs for that, for the Omega springs. But at the end of the day, these Ganzos have actually gotten really good. The first Ganzo I've had, it had that Ganzo, that G-lock, which is typically just an axis lock. They just call it something else. That one was not that impressive of a knife. This guy though, much more impressive. Fit and finish is great. Handle is great. You know, you have G10 here. It has rounded edges. It fits more comfortably in my hand than the bug out. And then it actually has an action that is comparable to the bug out, although the bug out is just a little bit thinner. The only difference between this and the bug out in terms of action is that this pop right here, this part right here, when it goes from here to here, it's a little bit mushier, whereas on the bug out, it's a little bit snappier. But other than that, for like what, $17-20, I got this for 75 ringgit at some store which I can't remember. But it's like $17-20. This is just a great little knife, super sharp, really sharp coming out of the box. Now it is 440C, so you will need to sharpen it from time to time. Now fortunately I have a lot of knives that I have not needed to sharpen this guy. Next up, This is one of the most commonly carried knives in the last 6 months. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint, and when I first got this guy, I didn't really like it because the ergonomics felt a little bit strange to me, and the reason for that is because I prefer having a bit of a curve in the handle. Okay, having that little bit of a downturn that you have here is very comfortable in hand, whereas this guy has that kind of straight ergonomic, which I'm not that big of a fan of. But where it lacks in that, it makes up in almost every other element. Okay, it's a great carry factor. It's slim, it is very small, very narrow in the pocket, has a nice action, great detent. It has this wonderful like washer smoothness. Okay, it pops open once I understand how to use the thumb studs on both sides. Sorry, bad example. There we go. It becomes a much nicer knife, and just the materials is what I keep coming back to this knife for. We have titanium hardware, LC200N liners, and then we have Vanex steel. So this is just a no-brainer, grab and go. It doesn't matter if it's raining or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's a hot day, I'm sweaty, it's raining. Most of the time, I'm gonna grab this guy. I gotta say, I probably carry this guy 30% of all the knives I carry. This guy covers about 30% of my pocket time. Really great knife. Now, full review is up. I did break one of the screw heads on the inside, but other than that, this knife actually works well. I'm kind of contemplating to get the titanium one, but it's an extra $50 more. This was $250. The titanium ones are $299 or $300, so I'm curious, but because I already have this, I might not get that. The Rockwall in Magna Cut is actually kind of like piquing my interest right now because they do compare very favorably to each other. The Rockwall is just a little bit smaller at 3 inches in blade length, while this guy is at 3.37. Next up, another knife that I've carried a lot in the last 3 months. This is the Periphery Lightweight. Nothing much to talk about here other than the fact that the price point of this guy has gone crazy. This guy, when it first came out, was like $91, which I think is fine for a Spyderco compression lock with their FRN. But now these guys are going for like $105. Was it 105? Yeah, just over $100. And I think at that price, it is way too expensive for this guy because Spyderco's, their price hikes have actually gotten up really crazy. So too have Benchmade's. Benchmade's prices have gone really crazy. I mean, you can get a PM2 for like $160 odd right now, which is like really up there. And the Benchmade bug out, the basic one's like $140 odd. That's really pricey in my opinion. So this guy was well recommended at about the $90 price range, but now over $100, I don't really advise you to buy this guy anymore. You might as well just go get the regular G10, the regular G10 Para 3. And the other big advantage the regular Para 3 has is that there are a lot of aftermarket skills for the Para 3. The lightweight, not so much, but I did see on Applied Weapons Tech, they had a teaser of the Para 3 lightweight aluminium handles in the skinny mod. So the skinny mod is, instead of having this swell right here, it just pretty much cuts this and it kind of goes straight down like that. Okay, it kind of just goes straight down like that. And I'm intrigued by that because I've tried the skinny mod Para 3 before and it feels fantastic in my hands. So if those skills ever come out, which I'm hoping they come out sometime this month, I might actually get myself some of those Para 3 lightweight scales. Now, I don't mind the CTS BD1N. It's pretty dull right now because I've cut a lot of cardboard with this guy. I've cut some rope with this guy, so this guy is pretty dull right now, to be honest. I mean, it's good enough to keep opening up packages from Amazon, Shopee and all that, but it has dulled up quite nicely right now. Last but not least, we have what I would consider almost a perfect knife design with a few small tweaks. This is it. This is the Protech Malibu. And it just has so many great things going for it. It has a great ergonomics. It has the best pocket clip in the knife roll. By that I mean it has a recessed scales, deep carry pocket clip. It has this flat portion up front right here, which makes it very easy to hold in hand. You don't get the flat spot that you would get from, let's say something like this, where you have a little bit of a kick up there, and that kick up can cause a bit of a hot spot. Here is nice and flat at the top, at the front here, so it goes into your hand really well. Fantastic blade shape. I love this blade shape. It's kind of a Wharncliffe, slightly curved Wharncliffe blade shape. Fantastic. Amazing action. And this amazing action comes from three things. Number one is that you have a very well designed flipper tab with jimping, a nice detent, and this butter smooth like button lock action. It just swings freely. Once you disengage the button lock, it just swings freely. Very, very nice. Completely one hand operatable, and you can do it with both hands, although slightly different experience as a lefty, but you're still just pinching like that, just as you are with the other hand. So the only thing I would change about this knife are the hardware. The hardware is kind of weird. You have T6, 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 and then you have a couple of Allen wrench sizes here. Don't know what size those are, but it's comparable to a T6 as well. So you can technically take this apart with just a T6 T6 bits, but you do need to be careful because this is not meant to be a T6 screw head. So keep that in mind. I would personally just have changed it all to T8s all the way around, all the screws, and this would just be the perfect knife. I've only taken this knife apart maybe once or twice in its entire lifetime. And the reason is you gotta be careful. There is a little spring on the inside of the button here, and if you don't take it apart properly, it will just fly out. Now, there is one more knife in my collection, which is not here right now. Let's see now, where is it? And there's a good reason why it's not here. Let's see now, where are you? One more knife in my collection, the the Demco Knives AD20.5. The reason why it's not on the table is because, well, I just released a disassembly video of this guy where I completely lost the spring. So this guy, the shark lock has no more springs on it, so it doesn't lock up. You can technically open it up and then push this forward with your thumb, and this is pretty darn secure. You can actually use this. It actually makes a nice little lockup right here with your thumb, so you can actually do some cutting with this. But it's definitely not something you want to keep in your pocket, because even if you push this forward, okay, it can still easily just flick open in your pocket. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I still want to buy the replacement the replacement springs, which you can buy on like Blade HQ and Knife Center and all these other shops. But yeah, pretty unfortunate. I've not done any review because I can't. I've carried this guy for about 3 days. My first impressions are the locking mechanism is great. Like, this is a very nice locking mechanism. It's very similar in terms of feel to the Snacks Ton. Very similar in terms of design to the Snacks Ton or We Knives Vision R, where you have a little metal bar here that's pushed forward with a spring that goes into a little groove over there. Okay, but the Snacks Ton is actually designed a little bit more, how shall we say this? A little bit more back locky, whereas this guy is a little bit more compression locky. I think that's the best way to explain it. Okay, so hopefully I get those springs soon, or I can afford to buy those springs soon. And that's it. Why don't you let me know which knives that you like in my collection the most, and tell me about your top 3 knives in your collection. Thanks guys, and as always, stay ready.